Okay, we're going to go in and we're going to do some more exploration of expressions. And we're going to use the same expressions. I've just created more of a little bit more sophisticated setup using the same environment. So in your folder, you will have a project for this. So if you go to File and open this project, it'll be called Sync Beats. And I'm going to open that. And it's going to show me a speaker. And so I drew this for you. You could draw your own. If you've been working with Illustrator or with After Effects, you should know how to draw some simple shapes. Let's look at what the shapes consist of. You have 2 for the large speaker at the bottom, 2 for the small speaker at the top, and the box or the case itself. And I'm going to lock the box. We're not going to use that at all. And I've got the small speaker and the large speaker. Now, the first thing I need to do is make sure that these shapes have the pick whip. I'm sorry, make sure that the pan behind anchor tool is in the center of each one of these shapes. So I'm clicking on the large speaker, and there's the pan behind anchor point tool, and I need to put that in the center of that shape right there. Now I'll click away, and I'll click on the next shape, which is large speaker. So that's a larger shape. I can turn this off. You can see that. And once again, I'm going to grab that and drag that and put that in the center of that shape as well. Okay. And I can turn that other shape back on. So now the pan behind anchor point tool is in the center of both the large speaker shapes. So I'm going to do the same for the small speaker. Click there, grab that pan behind anchor point tool. I'm using the pan behind anchor point tool. I'm going to drag that and put that into the center there. And then I'm going to do the same for this other part of the small speaker, the larger shape. And I can turn off the top there so you can see that I'm actually affecting the shape underneath. Grab that and drag it and place it in between. So now that I've gotten everything lined up properly, I'm going to import my audio. I'm going to double click, and you're going to have the same audio file that I'm using here. I'm going to import it. I'm going to drag that audio file down onto the timeline. And I'm going to convert this audio by going up to Animation, Keyframe Assistant, Convert Audio to Keyframe. So make sure the audio track is selected. I converted the audio to keyframes, and you'll see a track in your timeline called Audio Amplitude. So when I open that, you'll see that there's an Effects and a Transform palette, and in Effects is a left and a right channel. So I'm going to connect the large speakers to one and the small speakers to the other. So let's start with the large speaker. And I'll start with the first element, and I'm going to have to do this twice. So I'm going to open up the large speaker here. And what I want to do is go down to Scale and click. And once I go down to Scale, I'll hold down Shift and Alt and tap the equal button to put in the scale expression. Now I want to open up the left channel up here. I'm going to connect it to the left channel's TV slider. So I grab my little pick whip and drag that up to the left channel slider. It puts in the code. And I'm going to make one modification. I'm going to type +70, and that'll make sure that the shape doesn't get too small. Under temp, and then +70, once again, under temp, and that's the left and right coordinates. And I'm going to close that and do the other part of the large speaker the same way. Click and open that up, go down to Scale, click, hold down Shift + Alt + equals, and then under Scale, I'm going to grab that pick whip and drag it to the left channel slider. Next to temp, I'm going to type +70. And then next to temp, I'm going to type +70. And now I'll close that, and let's see what happens when we play it. See, the speaker is bouncing to the music. So I'm going to close the left channel under Audio Amplitude and open up the right channel. And this time I'm going to do the small speaker. So I'm going to come down to the small speaker, go down to transform, click on scale, shift alt equals, grab my pick whip and drag it to the right channel slider. It puts in the code for me. I'm just going to add plus 70 next to temp there, plus 70 next to temp there, and I've successfully programmed that. I'm going to do the other part of the small speaker. Same way, go down to transform, click on scale, shift alt plus, grab my pick whip, drag it to the slider, and then I'm going to modify it just with a little bit of code here, plus 70 temp plus 70. I'm just modifying that. Okay, so now I'm going to collapse that, collapse all the tracks, rewind it, let's play it. There we go. So that's an example of how one can use expressions to modify and control your work in After Effects.